Hey guys, it's Allison. I thought I would do a new video for you guys because I recently just finished this book, which is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. And if you haven't heard of this book, which is probably pretty rare by now because it's pretty popular, it's the first in a series called A Song of Fire and Ice. And it's basically a fantasy novel which revolves around 7 families and a lot of stuff happens. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this video was because I really didn't want to do a review of the book. I mean, it's been done many times. Like I said, it's a popular book, it's a popular TV show, and I wanted to kind of do some tips and hints about what to do if you have not yet read this series, which is, like I said, probably pretty rare, but I'm sure there's some people like me out there who have put this book off. So I bought this book in a box set. I bought the first 4 books off of Amazon. It was pretty cheap, actually. It was only like $20, I think. And so they sat on my bookshelf for probably over a year before I even looked at it. Before I even took the plastic wrap off because I was so intimidated by these books. The books are pretty large. This is a pretty short one compared. It's only about 800 pages. And so, like I said, it was intimidating. The reason I ended up actually breaking down and finally reading it is because I really wanted to watch the TV series, but I hate watching TV series before reading books, so I decided I finally was going to do it. I was going to read this book. So that's why I'm going to do this review for you guys, so you can have a few hints like I would have liked to have before I started the series. So the first one is you should think about what format you want to read this book in. Like I said, this book is pretty massive. It can get uncomfortable when you're holding the book, especially when you're first starting a book like this and you only have a few pages. Your thumb can get sore, your hands get sore, especially if you're, I don't know, reading up or however you guys like to read. It can get uncomfortable. So one thing you should think about is, do you want to read this in paperback, hardcover, or on an e-reader? I chose paperback because I had the paperback, but thinking on it, I probably would have chosen e-reader just because it would be easier to handle, easier to turn the pages, and all that stuff. The next thing I would suggest is listening to the audiobook while reading the book. I liked to have the audiobook in the background so that I can follow along on the pages and then listen to the book as well. I don't know, some people find that it's cheating, but I don't find it cheating at all. The good thing about audiobooks is that each character has its own voice, so it's kind of like you can recognize the characters based on their voices, especially some of the characters who are just like background characters or not as main characters, so you don't see them in every chapter. This book is told in alternating points of view, so each chapter is a different character and you see different parts of the story, which is interesting and which is cool because you get to see a little bit more. And so that's why I like the audiobook as well. Also, another thing about audiobooks that I really enjoy is that you can speed up the audiobook and you can make it go like 3 times as fast or 2 times as fast as a normal audiobook, and so I find that it makes me or helps me read the books faster as well. Next thing is you might want to check the appendices before you start reading the book. I suggest this anyway. So George R.R. Martin was pretty kind enough to fill out this appendices. Let me find it here. So each house has its own little section. This one's the House of Lannister. And then we've got the Tully house, etc., etc. So each one has the characters. So this is Stark, so this is their symbol. They've got a little bit of a brief summary of what the family is all about, their saying and all that stuff. Then they have each character, so for example, Eddard Stark, his wife, what's her name, and then the children that they have, people who are in their court, or people who are important with that family. I thought this was very helpful because, like I said, there's a lot of characters in this book. It can be a lot to kind of memorize who is who. So along with the recognition from audiobooks, you also get the appendices, which can kind of help you. And if you don't have this version, then you can also check out the internet to see. I found a really good pictograph which has pictures of the family trees and shows like the same thing: the husbands, the wives, the sons, the daughters, etc., for each family. Which, if you read the appendices, it doesn't spoil anything really for the story, so it just is a helpful tool to kind of get you into the reading of the book. And then if you don't want to do either of those things, you can also just check out the pictures of the actors who portray the characters in the HBO series. Some people don't like to know what the actors look like until after they read the book, but I'm the opposite. I want to know what they look like before I read the book, because oftentimes I will picture actors and the characters a different way than what they will be cast as. So, for example, when I read Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I had all the characters who were pretty new to the book and you don't see them before. I had them pictured a certain way. And then when I went to the movie, which, like I said, there's a lot of new characters, I was disappointed that they didn't look the way that I had imagined them in my head. So I actually went online and just found some pictures of the actors who played the main characters, and that way also you can kind of picture who's talking when you're reading the book again. Next tip is that you should really set aside a chunk of time to kind of, get through this. If you are going to enjoy it, like I did, you're going to want to read it pretty quickly. I went through this book probably, I think, 4 or 5 days, and it's pretty fast to read. There's action, there's story, great storytelling, great world building, and you start to enjoy these characters and you want to know more. I think my favorite characters were probably Daenerys and Arya. I like the girls better than the boys, maybe Jon Snow as well. But I looked forward to reading those chapters. So that's a pro and a con, I guess, because some people might not want to read certain characters, and then you have those chapters where you have to go through, But you're also getting other story that's important as well during those ones. After you're finished reading this book, you kind of have to decide, are you going to read the whole series right away, or are you going to wait? That's the big dilemma that I'm facing right now. The first book came out in 1996, and then the second book in 1999, the third in 2000, the fourth in 2005, and the fifth in 2011. So as you can see, there's no really rhyme or reason for when the books come out. It could be 1 year, it could be 5 years. So currently, there's only 5 of the planned 7 books out right now. So I'm thinking maybe I should wait and put it off a little bit and not start the other books right away, because I'm going to finish these ones all and then have to wait maybe years before the last book's out. Maybe I will read the first 3 books or 4 books because the series or the TV series is up to that point. That's another thing that you'll probably want to do as soon as you're finished with this book. If you're like me, you're going to want to watch the TV show right away. So I would have that ready to go for as soon as you finish. The first season, I found, was really close to the book. It stayed pretty true to the source material, so I was pretty happy with the series. I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and there's only 10 episodes, so you kind of fly through them. One thing to note is that it is not very safe to watch at work. I found that out the hard way. So there's quite a few inappropriate times, sexy times happening in the episodes, so I would suggest you watch them at home and not at work. The next thing is, I guess, just impatience. Now we just have to, like I said, decide when am I going to read the next book, and how fast or how soon I'm going to read the book after. Those are all the tips I had for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this better than a review. I mean, I could do a review as well, and I may still put a review up on the blog, but I thought this would be helpful for some people who haven't read the book yet, and hopefully if you haven't read the book, you'll want to pick it up and check it out. It is worth your time, I think, anyway. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll definitely get back to you guys. And as always, check us out on the blog, on Facebook, on Twitter. We're everywhere. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.